Hi everyone, I'm Tom Stanley from Stonefield Music, and I am joined today by Stonefield endorsing artist JD Short. You might remember us from another video that we did at the NAMM show back in January, where we demoed a passive voicing unit, which at that time was a prototype, and we looked at the capability of that unit in regard to altering the voice of an electric bass. With feedback from JD and other people that tried that unit out on the stand, I've made a few developments, some alterations and some changes, and so therefore we're now bringing you the next level of development in the passive voicing unit. In this case, moving it from a rack down into a small amp or table mount enclosure. One of the key changes that we made to the unit was bringing in remote foot switching, and that was a request JD had from a performance environment, wanting to be able to have foot switching as opposed to switching on the unit, which the rack mounted unit had. So we've brought the on-off switch for the unit into a foot pedal. It's a really simple affair. Small unit. It has the batteries that runs the LED light, and now with the remote switch we've got relay switching. So you're not running your signal through the cable that comes up and brings the unit on and off. This is just strictly moving power. Trying to stay as close to true form for musicians as I can, I've used a MIDI cable with it. So if you want a 30-meter long cable, just go to your music store and buy a 30-meter long MIDI cable. If you want a 3-meter long cable, buy one of those. Of course, when we have these units in production, we'll be supplying them, but that gives you the versatility to change what you'd like. So a simple, straightforward affair. Plug it into the foot switch, and then the other end of the MIDI cable into the back of the unit. Now remember, it's passive, there's no power required. Right now, if JD was to start playing, it's working. Give us a hint, I'll just show you that with no lights running. Thanks, JD. So we don't actually need this thing turned on. It's just for convenience sake that you might want the lights. If you wanted to run it full time on, you don't even need to use the foot switch. So it's entirely up to you how you use it. But we take the MIDI cable, we plug it in, and voila, the magic lights are on. So we'll do a similar demo here to what we did at NAMM, where we're going to walk through the voices, look at the different options that we've got available. We have actually added options as well, where we had 24 voices available to us at NAMM. We have got 30 voices available now. For the on-off switch, when you hit the on, the blue light comes on here and here. So regardless whether you're looking at the unit or whether you're just looking at your foot pedal because the unit's behind you and you're out front center stage, you've got the bright blue light showing you what's going on. Off, on, simple as that. I'll drop the pedal to the floor, which will take it out of frame for the camera, but it's right where JD wants it. Okay, so for now, we're off. It's bypassing. Regardless of what I do with this, JD hit it. Nothing's happening here. Okay, pause for just a moment, JD. Another addition that I made, on the back of the unit, we've got an input volume control. What we're doing with the input volume control is leveling out the switched signal, because being passive, of course, you get a lot of interaction of components. As you get into some of the deeper settings, you do get volume cuts. So if your favorite setting is one of the deeper settings in the unit, you can adjust your input volume so that as you bring it in and out, you don't get volume changes. So that was a pretty cool addition. I think it was a pretty cool addition.
I agree. Yeah,
all right. So with that, I guess, JD, you can hit it on and off as you like, and I'll work through the controls so you guys can get a good listen, because that's something we also didn't get at NAMM. So, the NAMM noise, right?
Yeah.
We had so much background noise that we just lost all the subtleties. And here in a studio environment, we're going to get a really good opportunity to listen to all the different options. So, all right, we've got we call this the global, we call this the regional, and we call this the local. And so in the global change, it makes a large sweeping change over the tonality. The regional has 6 positions that you can work your way through, makes a slightly more subtle change, and then the local just allows you to roll low frequencies in and out of the mix. So I guess with that, take it away, JD. We're wide open on the biggest setting. If I go to the As we move through very subtle changes, if I pop it right back to the front, you can hear the scope. Alright, so let's do a timeout and pause. So what we're getting as we move through each of these regional settings is a very subtle shift, so you can go to a fine degree of detail as to how you want to alter your tone. Overall, as you just heard though, if you go from the top, hit it JD for a moment. Quite a dramatic shift when we come back around. Alright, cool. So really nice fine control. Remember, passive unit, no batteries to mess around with. The one thing I didn't do there, I didn't mess with the local. So let's go one more time. And just thin things right out. If you want to go that thin, you got it available to you. If I take the regional right around, crazy amount of scope there. Bring local back in. That's cool. Let's come back up. Let's go to the next global setting. Bit thinner, a bit more nasally sounding. You throw me what you're hearing as we're doing this. You toss your opinions in.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I hear that. Like it's definitely like there's a honkiness like in the upper mids, which like I can see being useful in like cutting through stuff. So.
If I go back up to so we're up in the red setting on global, then we'll move along to yellow. It's pretty nasty. Let's go one setting over our regional. I heard that.
Yeah.
That was a pretty strong shift. We'll get that mellowed it out a wee bit.
Yeah, I remember from them like this being one of my favorite ones where we're starting. It starts to get dubby.
Let's go around. Yeah, you're pulling a lot of the upper mids out. That's pretty cool. Here we go. There it is. And again, I'll do a quick shift back up so you can hear the dramatic amount of difference that actually occurs over all those little steps. That's pretty cool. Okay, I'll move up one more on the global. That's funky. Yeah, okay, that's got some real. Come over one. This is the air. Oh, we're getting a lot. That's cool.
Yeah, like that one. I don't know.
I don't know if it's that useful, but we're in this area. It's in this amber and the green global settings where I remember this at NAMM too. We found the greatest amount of variations. Go up one more. Spread a lot of that low. Seems to come back in. That honks. That mellows out. Dub zone. One more to go. Now you might also notice as we're going through the settings, we're getting into more advanced settings, how much the signal comes down. JD, do me a favor, just switch it out. Woo! Okay, let's pause for just a second. So because of that, we've got more components interacting with the signal as we go into the more advanced settings. So this is where the volume control in the back comes into play. We can turn that off and we'll roll the volume down and switch it out. That's pretty good. That's pretty level.
Yeah.
So in a performance environment now, we can go to these more advanced settings where we know the passive nature of the unit is going to impact on our volume, but because of having that input control on the back, we can bring that down. Because it's passive, we're not introducing noise into the signal. We're not doing anything that we can't then take further down the signal chain and re-amplify. Pretty cool feature, I think, anyways. Of course, I designed the thing. What would I think? Woo! Alright, we're going to go up one more. We're up to the blue setting on global. And you notice I'm not really messing around too much with local. What that's the local, it just thins it out. Regardless of what setting you're on, local thins it right out. Or fattens it right back up. Alright, let's go around one more on regional. Oh, that's pretty cool. in. Super mellow. Bring that guy back in. That's such a dramatic difference. Now we can go one more setting on global. We can take it to turn all the lights off. And then again gives us 6 more voices over here on the right. It's kind of old-time radio, that one. Starting to get very thin now. And we're just about useless at this point. One more, I believe we turn it off. That's it. At that point, we're just filtering everything. Bring her back in, bring her back around. Cool. Go ahead and hit that with this guy all the way up. Yeah. So now we're into the, we're less in, right? We're on the top setting wide open. If you hit it now, it almost works like a boost because we dropped that input volume down. So playing around with that input volume against your activated volume, you can use this thing in the context of a boost as well.
Woo,
JD.
I could definitely see using this, certainly as a boost, and maybe even coming up with some of, I think, like some more sort of. It's like when you're doing like both low and high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. So
you pick a really full setting there. Yeah. Bypassing. Subtle change.
it just really sweetens it up and sort of being able to add, like I really like adding in some of these like just subtle variations or trying to remember where we were.
Yeah, it's always a challenge. There's so many options. The way I could see it being used is, as a player, you're going to find, oh, I like red, amber, I like green, white, and you would have your own, in your mind or even on a notepad, you might have your own preferential settings.
Yeah, I really, it's just,
full signal.
yeah, it's so amazing, like the subtle differences, like even coming back up, but just clicking it on and off, like, you know, like it's, and like the difference is, like for me, like seeing using, like, because I change techniques so much, so like, you know, like doing like really fast, like that's muddy, right?
Yeah.
But being able to just like
your chords right up.
thin it out without like adjusting anything on the bass itself. It's like there, yeah. Yeah, so much versatility in it. And like for me, with the fact that I play the F series and then being able to have all of the advanced features that you see in like, you know, the upper end basses, like, but you know, the switchability, and I could see having both. You know, like I could see having this and like, you know, like the M series electronics.
And we got those pedals.
Yeah.
Again, could refer to our NAMM videos. We did the voicing pedals. Each of those have 4 voices in them. You could have the pedal, you could have this, you could have, oh my god, massive tone shaping. No need for batteries, no batteries running out, no powered circuits overdriving your amps, totally passive. You think we're ready for market?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
You're ready.
As soon as if that means I can have one, yes.
That's awesome. Hey JD, thanks for that. Always a pleasure working with you. And we'll leave it over to you guys. We will have these available pretty soon. I know back in January I promised March, but then we got into more developmental work. As I'm doing this, I've thought of a few more things as well. But yeah, I can see these before the end of 2018. These will be in the market. So keep your eye at www.stonefieldmusic.com and our YouTube channels. www.bassdoubler. How do you spell that again?
BASSDBLER.
There you go. Check us out. Keep your eye on what we're doing, and we will have these things coming to you before the end of the year.